Buddhist ceremony, normally the main one will be the Vesak. Okay? Vesak day, or sometimes being called the Buddha's Day, is always fall on the full moon day of the month of May. This is where Buddhists all over the world will celebrate in commemorate with the birth, the enlightenment, as well as the passing away of the Buddha. Then after the Buddha enlightenment, okay, he spent almost about 7 weeks. Remember, 7 weeks in different places in Bodh okay, and after that he realized that he need to share the Dharma, so he went all the way to preach the Five Friends Monk. That is where the Buddhists will celebrate Ausaha. It's also called the Dharma days, and this fall on the full moon day of somewhere in July. This is where the first preaching of the Dharma to the first 5 disciples, okay, in Deer Park, Isipatana. And moving on, after this day, until 3 months later on, that is where Buddhist monks will actually observe the rainy day retreat. That's called the Vasa. So the Sangha members are required to observe the Vasana. So during that time, they will be engaging in intensive meditation and other spiritual pursuit. At the end of October, okay, so the Vasa end, and Buddhists will celebrate Pavarana, okay, and that is the day to mark the end of Vasa. Okay, so from there onwards, temples all over the places, they have a month to celebrate Katina. Okay, so Katina day, which means that the offering of a special robe or Katina Shivara, okay, prepared and presented to the monk, okay, who have completed the 3 months raining retreats. So this is where the whole process, the whole ceremony of Katina in relation to the Buddhist ceremony.
So Brother Chi Sing, could you elaborate further on the significance of Katina itself?
Basically, Katina means the unshakable, okay, in the definition. Okay, there are 2 meaning over here. The first one is Katina actually basically means the wooden frame. This is used during the Buddha's time for sewing the double layered ropes together. So that is a frame. So the second meaning of Katina basically means hard, firm, and solid. That is the characteristics of the monk. Okay. In the process of Katina, okay, first of all, in the morning, in the early morning, devotees will carry the Katina cloth around the temple. Okay. This is the first process that early morning they will wake up, they will carry, they will go around the temple. After they're going around the temple for 3 rounds, okay, then they will offer the Katina cloth. Remember here, it's a Katina cloth, not Katina robe yet. It's a cloth, it's a white cloth normally. Okay, they'll offer it to the Mahasangha. Okay, then later on, the monks, the Mahasangha will take the white cloth and they will dye the Katina cloth to the color, depend on the culture and the tradition of the monastery. You can see over here that the monks are putting in the saffron material, dyeing elements over here. And you can see that they are soaking in the hot water. Okay. So once the Katina cloth has been colored into the color they want, okay, and that is where devotees sometimes will help to dry them. Right? They will dry it. So ensure that it's dry before the cloth, the Katina cloth being cut, okay, to make the Katina robe. Okay, so all this in Buddhist culture is where the monk have to do it. The monk will be measuring the Katina cloth, and then they will cut, and then they will sew them together in either 5, 7, 9, or 11 groups, or we call it aggregates or kanda. Okay. The design of this the monk's robe are actually based on the Magadha rice paddy field. So once the dyeing process and drying process completed, then they will sew them together in this to make the final product called the Katina robe. Normally after this Mahasanghika dana, okay, devotees will re-offer now the Katina robe to the Mahasangha, and this will be done in the Sima Hall. Basically, a Sima Hall is a chapter house, okay, or the ordination hall. Okay. It's very important facility to cater for the monastery function. Normally, the higher ordination of a bhikkhu or a bhikkhu ceremony, the upasampada must be held in the Sima Hall, and Katina, the offering of robes to the Sangha, must be offered in the Sima Hall. And every fortnightly, okay, the assembly of the Buddhist monk together, they will reaffirm the rules of the discipline. Okay, it will be carried out in the Sima Hall. So Sima Hall must consist of will be normally surrounded by 9 Sima stones. Okay, normally you can see that there are some Sima stone around the temple, around the hall. Okay, normally 8 of them is outside and 1 is inside there. If you visit Wat Chitawan in PJ, you can see that there's a Sima stone outside. Okay. Finally, in the final process of the Katina robe offering in the Sima Hall is where the Mahasangha will present the Katina robe to the worthy recipient. Okay, and the recipient are the one who have been observing the 3-month vasa, and the most worthy one to be the recipient of the Katina robe. Okay, and you can see that this is the summary of the whole offering process.